TSU head coach Eddie George, another victory for the Tigers. The Southern Heritage Classic topped Arkansas Pine Bluff. This week, they're going to start the conference play. They're at Tennessee Tech on Saturday, the conference opener for both teams. So, Coach, just some general thoughts on your team, and then we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, like how we bounced back from a week ago from North Dakota State, how we came back and played really well for the most part. Kind of had to weather a storm earlier on, ripped off some touchdowns, made some great plays on special teams to put our offense in great position. Defense played well; they settled down some, but we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with the turnover, a couple turnovers there, allowed them back into the game, gave up some off schedule throws. Quarterback was really good. We were really concerned about his arm and his ability to push the ball down the field, and he did just that. But overall, we're getting better each and every week, and now we start conference play.
All right, we'll go to questions. Mike has some first, and then Brandon. Go ahead, Mike.
Eddie, you didn't have captains last year. You decided to have them this year. Can you take me through that decision, why you didn't have them last year, why you're having them this year, and then comment on your two captains, Draylen and Jalen?
Yeah, I felt like last year, there wasn't no one really stood up to me to be a captain. Didn't earn that right. I had it for two reasons. One, I felt like leadership was a big problem. I felt like that needed to be addressed. I felt like we weren't a tight knit group from a relationship standpoint, and nobody was owning or buying into the standard. So I'm not going to, have captains up there just to have them, unless they truly earned it and they embraced it. And I purposely did that to see, okay, one, not anybody's going to sit up there in front of the team, and two, I wanted to see who was going to take it, who was going to feel like, hey, I feel like I deserve to have that right to be a captain. I feel like I embody all that he's asking me to do, what's required, the standard, and raising that standard. But nobody did that. We had, representatives. I felt like James and Josh Green were really the true captains of last year's team. They did a great job of leadership, but this year was different. I saw how the guys came together, how they worked together. It was genuine. They really bought into the culture that we're trying to create. And we have six captains actually that the team voted on, as well as the coaches. And Draylen and Jalen McClendon are of those six. We also have Ahmad Green. We have Connor Meadows, Jalen Bell, and the other one escapes me right now. But of those six, we felt like we're getting real leadership, a real true buy-in, and these guys are just not talking it, but they're living it, on and off the football field. And that's what we've talked about. So I think leadership is very important for me because you're an extension of the coaching staff, of the school, of our community, of everything that we're trying to be, both on the field and in the classroom and on campus and the community.
How appropriate is that one of the captains is Draylen being in the quarterback position, which is a natural leadership position?
Yeah, again, he was voted on by the team. If they didn't perceive him to be a captain, then he would not be a captain. I'm not giving that to anybody, and that was understood. And I had a conversation with Drew. I said, "Hey, you're going to be judged by what you do off the field more so than you do on it. So your actions off the field will speak volumes of who you're becoming, and you have to make great decisions." And he's been able to do that over the course of last year. I had a phenomenal spring. Just coming in early and really embracing coaching, being a student of the game, something he didn't do 2 years prior. His teammates really started looking at him differently. Just the conversations. I mean, because Draylen, he has some stuff with him and he can be inconsistent. And that's where I challenged him, is to be a better person off the field, that you can be trustworthy. When you're in the dorm room or you're at a party, what do you have in your hand? Who are you around? how are you representing yourself? Because when guys see that, if you're living one way over here and talking another way over here in the football offices trying to impress people, they're not going to buy into it. So that's where I really challenged him. And I think he's doing a good job with that. And that's why he's having the year he's having so far.
Okay. Thanks, Andy. I'll see you this afternoon.
All right, Mike.
Brandon, go ahead.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Brandon, how are you, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. Wanted to kind of talk about, you had a couple of guys get all conference honors this past week. Draylen getting co-offensive player of the week and Sanders Ellis getting co-freshman of the week. And though we're not too far into the season, we've seen multiple weeks with Tennessee State players on the list. And when you look at that, one, is that something that you kind of is it announced to the team? And then also, what does it say to what you all are putting together, that more and more every week we're seeing more and more TSU guys able to attain these honors?
Well, it's a testament to the work, the habits that our team has created. I present, who we are, where we're lacking, what we need to focus on, and they take to the coaching. They really have taken to the habits that create championships. I'm not focused on the end result. I think you hear so many coaches talk about the process and this coach speak, and that's the process is building our faith, and that's our focus on a daily basis, our attitude, our intentions. Are we trusting the process, and are we helping move the needle for our stand? Are we helping each other in regard to doing that? So what I just did, I talked about, faith as an FAITH.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. I'm not focused on the end result. If we can go out and get better each and every week, really focus on our habits and practice, on competing every day, getting better every day, focus on being a unit that's going to be 9 strong in November, then those results will happen. It's not like we're saying, hey, go, we're going to put you in a position to go be player of the week this week. No, it's the work that we're putting in, and you're going out and it's translating onto the field. So, we still got a lot of work to do. We were not a finished product yet. I think the game against North Dakota State showed us who we were. And it gave us a blueprint, like, that's what we got to be. This is how we got to prepare on all fronts. It can't be one day you're busting your tail and you're running to the ball, and the next day, I'm going to take a play off. Nah, there's no time for that. That's where it holds you accountable to a whole different level. And that's the blessing in it all. So I'm really happy for those guys. It's something that, we celebrate, we talk about, we say, hey, congratulations, but we're on to the next one. You're only as good as your last game. Great job, but here are the areas that we need to improve in. Here's where you lacked a little focus. You might have taken a chance here. It may have worked this week, but when we get in the conference play, we play an opponent that is just as talented, just as disciplined. That's not going to work. So go through the progression of your reads. Go through trust your eyes. Trust your work. Keep your eyes on your work. Stay disciplined with your footwork. Trust your technique, your fundamentals. So that's what we're really preaching day in and day out.
Okay. And you kind of just touched on, obviously, you're getting into conference play with heading down to play Tennessee Tech on Saturday. Had a rough going against them last year. Looking at the first 2 games, they played Georgia, and that happened. Came up a little bit short against MTSU. And then when you look at in preparing for them, you kind of got a contrast in terms of what happened in those games. So even in the film that you have, what are some things that you'll be able, you think, to take advantage of and that you'll look to get done against the Eagles on Saturday?
Well, first and foremost, they have a really good football team. They're very, very good. When we talk about like the opponents, this will be the best team that we've played outside of North Dakota State, in terms of how they present their problems up front. They're very solid, a very good offensive line. The defensive front is probably the best in the OBC. Certainly will be the next best thing that we've seen since North Dakota State. They're very active. They play hard. They're physical. They're disciplined, and they're well coached. I mean, this is the first year for Coach Bobby Wilder, who really put Old Dominion on the map and built that program from the ground up. And they know how to coach. I mean, they get the most out of their kids. So, my thing is, last year they whooped their ass. They whooped their ass real good, and that's the one thing that I remember. You take all the plays out the window, the schemes, the schematics of it. When we got down to football and fundamentals, and pure 1-2 and physicality and finished and jumped on top of us and did not let up and choked us out, they whooped their ass. And that's the one thing that we've got to respond to is, hey, understand that this is going to be a physical fight. And we've got to be able to finish because this team is going to fight to the bitter end. And I think, we'll be up for that challenge.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach, for your time, and good luck on Saturday.
I appreciate it, Brendan.
No problem, sir.
I got one more, Coach, and I just hadn't got a chance to ask you about this. With Chazon passing away, and you are wearing the things in the back of the helmets with his name. Can you just talk about that and how his memory and the players can play for him or how that kind of works?
Yeah, it's simple. We have his jersey commemorated here in Hankel Hall in the locker room. We carry his jersey on the field, and as horrific and terrible as that situation was, that event was, it really brought us together in a real way. For about a week and a half or so, our kids just became unhinged and raw. Our coaching staff, same thing. It wasn't a coach to player relationship. It was a human being to human being relationship. We were all hurting, and we're still getting through that. Because Chazon was a beautiful young man, and he affected a lot of people, impacted a lot of people in short life. And to lose him the way we did, we had more of appreciation for one another and compassion for one another. And we just really loved on one another. And during that period, and we're still doing that. So we dedicate the season to him. Every day that we have an opportunity to go out and play or practice or be around each other, we celebrate that. We celebrate the life. We think about, man, he would love to have been a part of this, So we're definitely have dedicated our season to him and his memory.
Perfect. Well, thanks for that, Coach, and appreciate your time this morning. And best of luck this week. We'll talk to you again this time next week.
All right, thank you.